Hey friends, welcome back to She's At It Again. Today I'm going to be in the kitchen making several things, but really the only thing that I haven't done a video on so far is a New Orleans potato casserole. And this is one of those side dishes that somebody might just skip your entree once you serve this. It's just that good. This came from a restaurant called Harrigan's in Oklahoma City. Every time we'd go, that's what my side would be. Sometimes they wouldn't list it. They'd say, you want fries, you want baked potato, and I'm like, do you still have that New Orleans potato casserole? And they did, but for some reason they weren't telling people about it. But I knew the secret, and let me tell you, I was going to have it when I went there. So go with us as we make some New Orleans potato casserole. We're just going to start with cutting up some potatoes that I've had soaking in the sink overnight just to get the dirt and the debris off of it. So let's head out. All right. We have just russet potatoes that I've scrubbed. I had them in the sink soaking overnight, just in actually soapy water, just a little bit of soap. If there's a bug in it, I want it to be able to float to the bottom. I guess that wouldn't be floating, would it? I guess it'd be sinking. So we're just going to cut these up roughly the size chunks. Leave the peel on. Be sure and scrub the peel real good, making sure there's no eyes left in it or debris. Now some of these potatoes I've had to cut little pieces of it off just because there was a sprout on it. When you buy organic potatoes, which is what these are, I've heard some people say, I don't like organic potatoes. They sprout too easily. Well, yeah, guess what? It's because they've not been sprayed with a product called Sprout Nip, which is a chemical that prevents it from sprouting. So organic produce doesn't have that, and that's not something I want to be eating anyway. So lucky me, they have organic potatoes out there. So we're just going to cut these up into chunks, roughly about the same size, because when you stick a fork in one or a knife in one to test to see if it's done, you want all of them to be that done. If there's a large piece in there, it's not going to cook as quickly as the smaller pieces. So everybody knows how to cut up potatoes, so let's just keep doing that with all of them. We have our cut up potatoes in the pot. I'm going to add water to it. Do not add salt at this point. We're just going to barely cover the potatoes. And here's one of the important things. Put a lid on it. Tight fitting lid. We're going to turn the burner on pretty high and keep an eye on it so it doesn't bubble over. And we'll add our salt to it in just a bit. That's what you want to happen when a potato is done. You poke a knife in it and it slides off. That's it. All right, we're going to drain these. Drain all the water off and we'll add our ingredients to it. All right, drained potatoes. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 6 tablespoons of butter. And we'll get the salt and add that at this point. The key to cooking your potatoes is keep the lid on. And I know that if you're anything like me, inevitably it's going to start bubbling over on the stovetop, but it just keeps that heat in there. It just, yeah, it helps it not to disappear in the room. if you can keep it contained and under the lid, it's going to make it cook faster. All right, now I put about 5 or 6 pretty good sized russet potatoes in here, but you can make a portion, just an individual portion of this. Just put on there whatever you like on a baked potato, pretty much. That's kind of what my philosophy is on this recipe. People say, well, you didn't say how much butter. If you like a lot of butter, put a lot of butter. If you don't like a lot of butter, then don't put a lot of butter. But if you want to know what I'm doing, so about 5 or 6 potatoes, I think there were 6 potatoes. I put 6 tablespoons of butter in there. Now you can add more or less of that. You can add more or less of different things. I put about 1.5 teaspoons of salt in there. Now we'll taste it later just to see if that's enough. It may or may not be, and I'll add more to it at that point, and that's okay. So I'm going to try to get the butter all melted. I should have set the butter out and just let it soften, and this wouldn't have taken as long, but it is, and that's okay. Now, you don't need a mixer for this. You don't need an immersion blender. You don't need anything special for this. I'm just going to use my handy dandy potato masher if I have to. Now, sometimes the potatoes are cooked well enough and they're soft, and all I really have to do is stir it up and they just kind of fall apart. So that may be the case on this. I'm not sure. I got one little chunk of butter in there that needs to melt. Now, our dinner is not until tonight. This is a birthday dinner for a sweet friend of ours. She is coming over along with her daughter. Her husband is unable to join us tonight because he's not in town. But her birthday was the other day, but she had something else going on her birthday, so this is the night we're celebrating. But we're also having a couple of other friends over as well. So there will be 6 of us at dinner tonight. All right, and my big tub of sour cream here. And don't be shy with the sour cream, but it didn't New Orleans sour cream casserole, but you want to add enough where it gives it some tang and flavor. I hesitate to use my potato masher because I don't want to waste the potatoes that get stuck on it, so I'm trying to get away with doing it with just a spatula, but may or may not work. Now, if you want yours super smooth, by all means, go ahead with that potato masher and just make it as smooth as you can. All right, I relent. We're going to have to use it. Okay, that made it a bit smoother. All right, now I have green onions that I cut up, so just in little pieces. And I have about 3 larger pieces of no nitrate bacon. So this is uncured bacon. So making a better choice, use uncured bacon. I always have, well, I say always, not always. You're going to catch me every once in a while not having any left, but then I speedy quick replace it. But I normally have cooked bacon in a sealed container in a cabinet. Now, I know some of y'all are going, and it's already cooked? Doesn't it go bad? I don't know why it doesn't. It doesn't. But anytime I need bacon, it's just there. Whether it's for a sandwich, I run in and go, oh, I don't know what I want. Oh, bacon sandwich sounds good. And I heat up a few slices in a skillet just to crisp it up. But stuff like this, it's perfect because I need bacon and I don't have to get out a skillet or a pan or turn the oven on or anything. It's done. Now, if you wanted to chop it up into bacon bits and stick it in the refrigerator, if you feel better about keeping it in the refrigerator or freezer, that's fine. But that's just a matter of convenience and logistics and all that. Keep cooked bacon somewhere in your house. If you're one of those people who have a lot of bacon recipes like I do, it just comes in handy. Doesn't slow you down. Now, one of the last things we're going to add here, actually the last thing we're going to add here, I guess, I think I have everything in there, is cheese. Now, I had some shredded cheese that I shredded the other night for something. I can't remember what it was. And it was sharp cheddar, extra sharp cheddar. And then I had a little chunk of mozzarella, so I just shredded it too. So let's reserve a little bit of it just for the top. Now this could be eaten just like this with no problem at all. Trust me on that one. But to heat it up as a casserole and serve as a side dish is just such a fun thing to have. We are having steaks tonight, and I just bought some little small steaks at the store the other day. I think I bought 10 of them. And yes, they were very large packages, but I grilled them yesterday, so I didn't have to mess with the grill and smelling like a smokehouse when I walk in, because last night when I took a shower, when the water hit my hair, I was like, whoa, that is a lot of smoke smell, because for some reason my hair absorbs every fragrance bit that comes out of that grill. It is incredible. So I knew I didn't want to smell like that at dinner tonight, so we grilled those yesterday. They're in the refrigerator, and I will simply heat those up before dinner tonight. And somebody may not even know that I didn't grill them this afternoon right before they got here. Dinner is being served at 6, and they'll think maybe I've been outside grilling this afternoon. But I grilled burgers too while I was at it, just so I could put those in the refrigerator. Just another logistics thing. I'm real big on having things made already when I'm in a bind. This being Memorial Day weekend, I have things to do. There's a wedding that I'm helping cater, and I'm not helping cater. I'm just helping serve. The caterer is a friend of mine, and she asked me if I could help. So yes, by all means. And it's hard to find people on a holiday weekend to help with a wedding, and it's a pretty large wedding. I think she said maybe there's 400 guests, so we'll be busy. So I don't want to have to come in on an evening after doing that and try to find something to eat. So I made burgers, and I already made buns, so we're set for at least that day. Okay, notice I put a little bit of butter in this pan. You could use coconut oil or whatever oil you want just to keep it from sticking. But since it does have a lot of butter in it, it's not going to be bad about sticking. But since it is a starch product and it does have cheese in it, I just didn't want to take any chances. I may or may not consider licking this spatula in this pan after I turn the camera off. So, just so you know, not going to waste anything. All right, don't smooth it down. Please don't smooth it down and take a rake and make it look like one of those little Asian meditation gardens. Just leave it lumpy, kind of make it look like waves in a pan or something. That just adds a little more interest to it. And we're going to put our cheese over it. Now I'm going to let this cool off, and not a big rush to stick it in the refrigerator and cool it off, but I might stick it in there in an hour or so after it cools off. And we will heat this up before dinner tonight. Hopefully I'll remember to take a little video of when it comes out of the oven so you can see what it looks like. But this will probably be one of those things people ask for the recipe for if you serve it sometime. So whether it's burgers or steaks or something in between, or just this by itself, it is a really, really good side dish. All right, hopefully I'll get a shot later on. I just want to say now, thanks for joining us, and we look forward to sharing something again with you real soon. Recipe should be in the description. Remember, I'm not going to give details about amounts because it just depends on how many potatoes you use. So just freestyle it and use those ingredients and see what it tastes like to you. I think it's really fabulous. Thanks again for joining us. Bye.